So I had a wicked detox for the past week. I believe it was set off by eating week-old oysters, and I ate these oysters. I kept them in the fridge. They didn't smell particularly bad. They didn't look bad, and I ate them. And then the following day, I started to get a headache, which then progressed into something full-blown, just terrible feeling. And I eventually determined this was meningitis because I was taking stuff for my headache, like I was doing the Primal Lemonade and stuff, the sparkling water. And, nothing really helped the headache go down. It was just this constant throbbing pain. It hurt to move. I was moving at about half speed. It was awful. I was getting pain in my teeth as well. And no vomiting or anything like that, no diarrhea, but it was very unpleasant. You can maybe say excruciating. And I was drinking, milkshakes and doing the eggs, and sometimes I find making limeade helps. So I just squeeze a bunch of limes into a ball jar, and I put in a lot of honey, and then I put in, water, like 2, maybe 3 cups of water, and then I'll sip on that for like a few days. And it seemed to help temporarily, but I just never felt better. Worst part was I had to pick up my food. I had to make my food run Saturday, and just feeling like that, it was a chore to carry stuff, and even just getting in and out of the car. It took me twice as long to do everything. Normally I hop out of bed in the morning and I have to slowly roll and get out of bed, because whenever I would move, my head would throb. It would be very painful. And this went on, for 5 days. But in between there, sometime, something really fun happened. I got pneumonia. I just started coughing a little bit, and then it got worse throughout the day, and I was, hacking up giant green sputum. They were so big and thick and heavy, they wouldn't even go through the drain like, normal mucus. Yeah, awful. So I look in the book under pneumonia, and pneumonia is actually basically it's a detox from your detox. So for that, I just did a lot of orange smoothies, the egg with the orange, and that was probably the biggest, most helpful thing that I did during this detox. Provided the most relief, made my coughs productive. I was also juicing ginger and putting that in some vegetable juice. I drank the vegetable juice a little bit, and I did ginger, carrot, celery, and the ginger and the juice really helped. The ginger helps thin up the toxic mucus. It's also good for the brain and mental clarity. So I'm glad I've started introducing ginger into my diet more. I think it makes a big difference. But basically with the meningitis, I just did a lot of milk and milkshakes. Didn't really have much of an appetite for meat. I forced myself to eat some swordfish. I bought that because it's really good. It's one of my favorites. So I thought that might entice me, but I could only eat probably 1/3 of a pound of meat at a time, and I marinated it in lemon. But I think eating that fish helped speed up my healing, especially because I was probably getting rid of mercury, in the brain. And the fish, the swordfish, it's got a lot of mercury in it, so it's helpful for getting that out of your body. I also bought an oyster, I bought 3 oysters. I couldn't get one of them open, and I was too sick, just feeling too sick to even try to bash it open with a hammer. and then the second one I ate was fine, and then I opened one, and just with my past experience, it probably would have been okay, but I just was like, I better not risk it, so I didn't eat it. But I did an oyster and some fish, and that seemed to really help in the hot bath. So I noticed an intense need for heat when I was going through this meningitis. The one night I just got in a sleeping bag with some hot water bottles, and that was like, a nice reprieve. But as soon as I, went to bed, it was, worse or just as bad. But when I took the hot bath the next day, it made a really big difference. I could feel, even just being in the bathroom that was all hot, I could feel like my body get excited. Like I could feel the cells start to get active and move towards the heat, almost like they were craving it. And honestly, I sat in the hot bath for 2.5 hours. I didn't have my fan on like I usually did. I didn't bring it up. I forgot to bring it up. I had ice on standby, but I didn't use it. No, wait. The first hot bath, I didn't even make ice. But I was in that bath for 2.5 hours, and I was fine. It was the first time that I never needed like a break. That's how much I needed the heat. And that's how you really know if you're really like in bad shape and detoxing. It's like you're in a hot bath and you just want to stay there, and you don't need anything to cool you off, because your body's trying to get to those temperatures. And I'd probably say that it'd be like a factor of 30% of healing. So like every day I did a hot bath, I felt 30% better the first day, and then I took a hot bath the day after that, I felt 30% better. And then I didn't take any more baths after that, but I kept getting better, after day. The first two hardest days the worst days were when I had the hot bath, and then I got better, but then the pneumonia kicked in, and I still had a headache with the cough, and coughing with that kind of headache is terrible. I'd get a little pressure behind my eyes too, so definitely swelling, and I just kind of determined it's probably meningitis I had. Otherwise, it was what it was. I mean, I was going to say it wasn't that bad, but honestly, it was pretty terrible. But I was over everything in about a week, 8 days. I'm still coughing. I'm still coughing up junk, but I don't have as deep of a cough. It doesn't hurt. Well, it's just a little detox report. Basically, everything I did, lime juice helped a little bit temporarily. Milkshakes were good. And a lot of eggs. Didn't have much appetite for the meat, but fish, if you can get it down, is helpful. Hot baths, going to speed up everything. Very worth doing. And for the pneumonia, ginger juice and the vegetable juice was very helpful in breaking up the mucus, in addition to the orange smoothies, which an orange smoothie is just oranges and eggs, nothing else. I do about 4 eggs for every orange. I had like medium-sized oranges. Pretty nice drink there. And I would drink anywhere from like 2 to 3 a day. So you could do more even if you needed it. But that's what I did. Another thing that happened was I was sweating profusely at night. I was sweating through pajamas and my sheets. So if you're detoxing like that, it's a good idea to have a towel, to like sleep on a towel and have some extra PJs on standby. So then you can change and move the towel or get another towel or something. So then you're not sleeping like in the wet sweat, because that can be kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, it's always a good idea to have some extra clothes and a towel on standby for the sweating, because it just gets uncomfortable. So that's about all, and let me know if you have any questions.